Becoming calmer isn't only about what you add to your life, it's about what you let go of. Here are 7 things calm people quietly stopped doing. And none of them are loud. None of them look like breakthroughs from the outside. They look like small, private choices, the kind you make when no one is watching, the kind that slowly rearrange the weather inside you. Calm rarely arrives as an event. It arrives as a subtraction, a shelf that gets a little emptier, a shelf that gets a little emptier, a tab that finally gets closed, a conversation you gently step back from. You stop carrying something you didn't realize you were carrying, and one evening you notice your shoulders sitting lower than usual. You notice your breath reaching further down. You notice the room is quieter, though nothing in the room has changed. That's the shape of it. Not a fix-fix, a softening, not a new habit stacked on top, an old habit set down. The people who feel steady are not smarter than you. They are not stronger or luckier or born with a quieter mind. They just stopped feeding a few small fires. They stopped tending to what was burning them. And in the space that opened up, something gentler grew. Tonight we'll walk through 7 of those quiet stops, slowly, without pressure. You don't have to do any of them tonight. You just have to notice which one your life has been asking for. The first thing calm people quietly stop doing is rehearsing conversations that will never happen. You know the ones, the imagined argument in the shower, the perfect comeback you deliver to the ceiling at 2 a.m., the apology you draft to someone who isn't listening. For a long time it feels like preparation, like you're getting ready, staying sharp, protecting yourself. But somewhere along the way, you realize it isn't preparation, it's rehearsal for a play that no one is coming to see, and every rehearsal costs you something. A little peace, a little presence, a little of the actual evening happening around you. Calm people notice when their mind slips into that theater, and gently, without shame, they walk out of it. They come back to the tea in their hands, the hum of the fridge, the soft weight of the blanket. Not because the imagined conversation doesn't matter, but because it isn't real yet, and they'd rather live in what is. The second thing they stopped doing is trying to be understood by everyone. There was a season, maybe a long one, when you explained yourself constantly. Your choices, your silences, your feelings, your no. You laid them out carefully, hoping the right words would finally make someone see you, and sometimes they did. But often, they didn't. And you were left tired, holding a version of yourself that had been examined too many times. Calm people learn something quiet here. Not everyone is going to understand you. Not everyone is meant to. Some people will only ever see a shape of you, and that has to be okay. You stop over-explaining. You stop softening your truth into something more digestible. You let the misunderstanding sit without rushing to correct it. And here's the part that changes everything. When you stop begging to be understood, you start being understood by the right people. The ones who are always going to get it without the 10-paragraph explanation. The third thing calm people quietly stop doing is measuring their day by how much they got done. For most of your life, productivity has been the ruler. A good day is a full day. A worthy day is a full day. A worthy day is a busy day. Rest has to be earned, and even then, you feel guilty accepting it. But calm people notice something the busy version of themselves missed. A day full of tasks is not the same as a day full of life. You can finish everything on the list and still feel hollow. You can finish nothing and still feel like you lived. So they change the question. Instead of what did I get done, they ask, what did I actually feel today? Where was I present? What did I notice that I would have missed if I were rushing? The list still exists. The work still gets done. But it stops being the scoreboard of their worth. And funnily enough, they get more done anyway. Because a mind that isn't punishing itself for resting works better when it works. The fourth thing they quietly stop doing is scrolling to feel something. You know this one. The reach for the phone that isn't really about the phone. The end the scroll that isn't really about the videos. It's a small hunger dressed up as habit. A search for a spark, a lift, anything that fills the quiet. And the strange thing is, the more you scroll, the flatter you feel. You come out of it a little more tired than you went in. A little more restless, a little further from yourself. Calm people notice the reach before the reach. That tiny second where the hand moves toward the phone without a reason, and sometimes, not always, they let the hand come back down. They let themselves be bored. They let the quiet be quiet. They stare out a window for a moment. They watch the steam rise from a cup. It sounds small. It is small. But it's in these small returns to yourself that calm actually lives, not in the big retreats or the perfect mornings, in the 20 seconds you didn't fill. There's one more thing worth knowing before we go further, and it's maybe the hardest to notice in yourself. The fifth thing calm people quietly stop doing is arguing with reality. Not the big injustices of the world, those deserve your care, but the small daily frictions, the traffic, the weather, the email that took longer than expected, the person who was 5 minutes late, the plan that changed. For a long time, you resisted these tiny things with your whole body. You tightened around them. You argued with them in your head as if enough frustration would make them different. But reality doesn't move because you disagree with it. The traffic doesn't clear. The rain doesn't stop. The email still takes what it takes. Calm people learn to say a quiet inner yes. Not a happy yes. Not a happy yes. Just an acknowledgement. This is what's happening right now. I don't have to like it. I just have to stop fighting it in my chest. And something loosens when they do. The situation is still the same, but the second layer of suffering, the argument, falls away. You're only left with the thing itself, which is almost always more manageable than the thing plus your resistance to it. The sixth thing they quietly stop doing is keeping score in their close relationships. This one is tender because it hides so well. You don't call it scorekeeping. You call it fairness. You call it noticing. You call it remembering who did what and when and how much. But underneath, there's a little ledger you've been carrying. Who reached out first? Who forgot the birthday? Who gave more? Who took more? Who owes? Calm people over time put the ledger down. Not because they let themselves be used. They still notice. They still choose who gets close. But inside the relationships that matter, they stop counting. They give without waiting to be repaid in the exact same currency. They receive without immediately calculating how to return it. They let love move a little more freely than the accountant in them would prefer. And their close people feel it. You can always feel it when someone is loving you without a spreadsheet open in the background. The seventh thing calm people quietly stop doing is trying to think their way out of every feeling. When something heavy shows up, sadness, worry, a small ache you can't name, the mind rushes in with tools. Analyze it, solve it, trace it back to a cause, talk yourself out of it, distract from it, anything but sit with it. And sometimes thinking helps. But often, thinking is just another way of running. Calm people, gently and over years, learn to let a feeling be a feeling. They don't rush it. They don't argue with it. They don't demand it explain itself before they'll allow it to stay. They notice where it lives in the body, the tightness in the chest, the heaviness behind the eyes, and they breathe there, not to make it go away, just to keep it company. And feelings, when they're kept company, tend to move. They arrive, they stay a while, they soften, they leave. It's when we shove them into a closet that they start banging on the door. So those are the seven, rehearsing conversations that won't happen, trying to be understood by everyone, measuring your day by output, scrolling to feel something, arguing with reality, keeping score with the people you love, thinking your way out of every feeling. Read them again slowly if you need to. Not to memorize them, just to notice. Which one made you flinch a little? Which one felt like a mirror? You don't have to fix all seven. You don't have to fix any of them tonight. You just have to see, because seeing is where all the quiet change begins. And here's the thing no one tells you about calm. It isn't a personality. It isn't a gift some people are handed. It's a series of tiny, private goodbyes to habits that were never really serving you. Every calm person you've ever admired was once a restless one. They just stopped, one small thing at a time. So tonight, if you take anything from this, let it be gentle. Pick one. Only one. The one your chest recognized. And this week, just watch for it. Notice when it shows up. Notice how it feels in your body. That's all. Awareness first, always. The rest will follow in its own time, in its own way. If any part of this reached you tonight, breathe with me in the comments. Tell me which of the seven felt closest to home. I read them slowly, the way I hope you'll read yourself. And if this reflection softens something, even a little, consider staying with us. There's another quiet one waiting whenever you're ready. For now, let your shoulders drop. Let the day end where it is. You don't have to earn this rest. You just have to let it in.